Hello everyone, this is Mom Joy and I'm here to help you out in your next math journey. In this video, you'll learn how to multiply real numbers. To start with, I want you to understand and give your own way of solving this problem. Suppose that you won 5 shares of a stock, but the price drops $3. How much money have you lost? You may start by identifying the keywords that will lead you to the correct solution. How much money you start with? How much money you lose in every share? How much money was left? And how much money was lost? Please comment your answer below and we'll get back to you. Let's move on. Remember the rules for multiplying two real numbers. If the signs are the same, then the product is positive. If the signs are different, then the product is negative. Again, if the signs are the same, the product is positive. If the signs are different, then the product is negative. Also remember the different properties that applies to multiplication. If you can still remember, these are the properties that we already discussed in the previous lessons. So for a commutative property, order doesn't matter. For associative property, grouping doesn't matter. For identity property, A times 1 is always equals to A. Property of 0, A times 0 equals 0. And for the property of opposites, A times a negative 1 equals negative A. Now let's try to do the following example. So let's find the product of the following numbers. So for letter A, 9 times negative 3, a positive times a negative will give us a negative answer. So 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. For letter B, we have a positive and a negative and a negative. So these two numbers will give us a positive product and another positive over here. So we can go straight and get 8, and we can get half of 6, which is 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. Now for letter C, we have to get the cube of negative 3, which means a negative 3 times a negative 3 times another negative 3. So multiplying three negative numbers, our end product will be a negative because these two numbers here will give us a positive, and a positive times a negative will give us a negative. So 3 cubed is 27. So our answer is negative 27. For letter D, you see we have 4 numbers and all of them are negative. So we have 2 pairs. So this first pair will turn out to be positive. The second pair will turn out to be another positive. So our end product will be a positive. Now for the first set, we can go straight and get the half of 2. And half of 2 we all know is 1. And 1 times 3 times 5 is 15. So final answer is 15. Now let's proceed to the second set of our examples. The first one, we have 2 negatives. So our end product will be a positive. So we have the base n, and since we are multiplying, according to the previous rule, we have to add the exponents. So we have 1 plus 1 is 2. So our final answer is n squared. For letter B, you could see we have 3 negatives. So this will give us a positive and our end product will be a negative. Now we have 4 as a coefficient, and then we write x. How many x do we have? 1, 2, 3. So our final answer is negative 4x cubed. Now for letter C, as you notice, the negative is outside the parentheses, meaning we don't include the negative in the exponent 3. Therefore, it's going to be a negative final answer, and then we cube the b. So it's just the same as writing negative b cubed. And for the fourth one, you see the difference between letter C and D? This time, the negative is inside the parentheses. So the negative is included in the exponent 4. So it means it's a negative y times a negative y times a negative y times a negative y. So we have a positive for the first set, and we have another positive for the second set. Therefore, we end up with a positive and positive. Our final answer will be a positive y, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 as exponents. To sum up, please remember that an even number of negative signs always results in a positive product, and an odd number of negative signs results in a negative product. So you see 2 negative will give us positive, 3 will give us negative, 1 will give us negative, and 4 will give us positive. For our third example, let's evaluate the expression when x is equals to negative 7. Evaluate means we replace the value of x with negative 7. Okay, so first let's just copy 2. Okay, and then let's use a bracket this time because we'll be using parentheses again. So let's just copy the negative, and now let's replace x with negative 7. Okay, and again we copy negative again, and there is a negative 7. So these are all multiplication. So we end up with a 2. Negative times negative 7 is positive 7. And a negative 7 will give us a positive 7. So finally, we have 7 times 7. We all know it's 49 times 2. This will give us 98. Another way to do this is to first simplify the expression right here. So 2 times negative x times negative x. This will give us 2x squared. Okay, now it's time for us to replace x by negative 7. So we can write 2 and then write negative 7 and then we square. Okay, now so 2 negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. Therefore, 2 times 49 is also 98. One more example. So negative 5 times x times negative 2 times 7. So we can go ahead and replace x by negative 7. So negative 5 times negative 7 times negative 2 over 7. Okay, so negative and negative and another negative. We have 3 negatives. So it's an odd number, so we expect a negative final answer. Now let's simplify. We have 7 divided by 7 is 1. Therefore, we have left 5 times 2 is 10. This lesson integrates geometric sequence and application to multiplication of real numbers. To find the next number in the geometric sequence, we need to multiply a common number to the current number. For example, in the given sequence 2, 8, 32, 128, and 512, you notice that each number is being multiplied by a common number, which is 4. Or to identify if the sequence is a geometric sequence, we can examine the ratio of each pair one at a time. Now it's time to pause this video and challenge yourself to get all the answers correctly, because you have already mastered the multiplication table and as well the squares and division. And when you're done, you may continue this video to self-check your work. It's now time to check your work and see how much you have done well this time. How is it? Pretty good? Now let's move on to the next page. All well? I hope you have successfully understood the lesson through this video presentation, and I hope to see you guys in the next lesson. Bye!